Hello everybody, this is just a mercifully short video showing you how to access the Westlaw case system online so you can look at current cases and legislation. The reason we're looking at this, I know I discussed it a couple of weeks back, is it's very important when you come across cases in the reading list or when you're writing essays, you're looking at a piece of legislation or whatever, that you don't just Google it to read it on Google. And that's important because things get changed all the time. You can't tell immediately if you Google it whether it's actually in force or not. There's a lot of problems in previous years where students would mention legislation which actually hadn't been enacted yet. So that's very important. You get old versions of decisions, or sometimes you get comment pieces which are just completely wrong. So it's very important that you're not just Googling it and that you're using a proper legal database to look at current law and legislation. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do. So if you go onto your search, and you'll be very familiar with this anyway, pop onto e-resources guide, I'll show you how to access Westlaw. There is another one called LexisNexis, but it's a bit more complicated and it's just a bit pants really. So I think Westlaw's a lot easier to use, a lot more user-friendly. So we head to W, down to Westlaw, and that'll log you all on automatically. And the bits we're interested in here are the cases, legislation and journals. So let's say, you're doing homelessness in a couple of weeks. Let's say you want to look at one of those cases. So key landmark decision we've had recently is the case of Hotak. So if you pop Hotak in, Hotak against Southwark, search that, and up it pops. So you can see here, this is the most recent decision, the Supreme Court decision. You want to be reading the most recent decision. So you can see the lower instance decision here in the Court of Appeal. We obviously want the higher court decision, the top court decision. So we click here on case analysis. And what the case analysis gives you is a little summary of the case, which gives a general outline about what the arguments were from each side, what the overall decision of the court was. So that's just 400 or 500 word summary, and you can see who sat on the case, and you can also see the history of the case as well, the previous decisions, what court it's come from, all that sort of stuff, and related cases, so cases which are either involved in the appeal and the ones that were cited in the decision as well. Okay, so that's the summary. If you want to read the full judgment, it's best to use the official transcripts just for purposes of paragraph numbering and so on for if you're referencing this. So click on the official transcript, and then here's the full decision. What you'll see I've put up on the VLE as well is a short PDF about how to read case law, because the problem is, and this decision is actually a good example because we had a couple of dissenting decisions. Sometimes justices won't agree, so you'll get the lead judgment in there and you'll get other bits as well. So not all of it is necessarily good law. But there's a little PDF guide about how to read cases in there as well if you're interested. I'd say for the social policy guys, if you don't want to be reading full decisions, that's fine, depending on what essay question you're doing. It's more in case if you're interested to read the full thing, it's really good to, because they're quite well set out and you learn a great deal by doing so. But don't be scared if you think, oh my God, I've got to read all this case law. You don't worry about that. But for those of you that are interested, this is how you access it. Okay, so that's cases. You can see here down the side, the journal articles and books tool. This shows you all the journal articles and books within the Westlaw catalogue which have cited this decision. So if we click on journal articles here, when it decides to load. Yeah, so you can see here there's loads of different things. Advisor, that's the CAB magazine, and loads of others as well. So Journal of Housing Law there. And quite often these are summaries of what was held in the case and what impact it might have. So here's a good example, Journal of Housing Law, which provides an outline of the decision. Here we go. So that's how you can see it. And a lot of those little tidbits, the little bit from journal articles and so on, aren't normally within the Your Search catalogue because of this extra paywall. So they're not always indexed very effectively. So it is worth looking on here if you're after commentary on the case law. Okay, so that's cases, legislation. If we pop onto here, so if we use an example the provision that case was about, so the Housing Act, 1996, section 189, I think for priority need, section 189. So if you're looking at a piece of legislation, there's a piece of legislation on the reading list, or you're writing an essay about a particular provision or whatever, you can just pop it in there. So the Act or the statutory instrument title Housing Act 1996, and the provision number, pop search, and there it comes up. And you can see from that little green tick that the law's in force, which is what you want to see if you're going to be writing about it. Lovely. And if you click on the link, it takes you through to the actual provision itself as it stands, so as is law. What this page will also tell you, so there's the provision. What this page will also tell you is any modifications that have been made. You'll get a little annotation as well on quite a lot of the legislation, or particularly the stuff we're looking at. And it'll also tell you if there's any upcoming amendments. So if there's an act going through the legislative process, going through Parliament, which would amend this, you'll see that as well. And again, as with the case law, you get a little bit that shows you the journal articles that have been that have cited this bit, and any books which have cited it as well. So finally, just looking at journals, it is the problem with law journals generally is they're not always very well indexed in things like Google Scholar and the Your Search catalogue in the library, because they're sort of behind this additional paywall. So if you're looking at a particular case, or you're looking at a particular piece of legislation, or you're thinking about a particular concept in housing, so say we're looking at priority need in a homelessness context, it might be worth, oh, here we go. Yeah, it might be worth you searching for that in this journal database as well, because a lot of this stuff might not show up in the other places that you normally search. So it's very easy, you just pop through and you can see you get all these extra little bits up here. So advisor, for instance, I know for a fact that that's very poorly indexed in the Your Search catalogue. So you'll have to come through here to see where that's put through. Journal of Housing Law as well. I think you can only access through the legal databases. It's not very well indexed elsewhere. It gets you all sorts of stuff. Okay, so I think that was everything I wanted to cover. So again, don't stress about it. You don't have to be reading loads of case law. But for people who are interested, or for people who see the decisions in the reading list and want to go and read the full thing rather than just reading the commentary, you'll learn so much by doing it. So I positively encourage you to do it. And this is how you access the up-to-date live decisions and the commentary associated with them on the legal databases. Okay, so I think that's it. Any problems, do grab me at the sessions or pop me an email, and I will see you again on Monday. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.